computer. All right, so now we're going to do a quick lesson on GitHub and Git and all that sort of architecture there. What the fuck is going on? It's kind of confusing. And honestly, I have talked to people who have worked in the industry for north of 10 years who said it took them like north of 5 years to like really understand GitHub. The good news is you don't have to be good at GitHub. You have to be competent at GitHub. You have to be able to go and put your projects on there for right now. That's kind of the number one thing. At some point in your career, you are going to get good at GitHub. And the only way you're going to get good at GitHub is by collaborating with a shit ton of people all of the fucking time. So if you ever feel like GitHub is a weak skill of yours, it definitely is. And it's also really hard to work on until you actually get out into the industry. So just to give a little preface of GitHub and what that's like, cool. Let's actually now talk a little bit about GitHub. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up just a whiteboard here. I think this AWW, you know, it's just this link that it doesn't like. So if I do whiteboard app AWW, I think, yeah, AWW. Why does this one work? I don't know. I'm going to bookmark this page. Bookmark this tab. Cool. Oh, it's only supported until July 31st. Fuck you, Miro. Sorry, I had to make a complaint. Cool. All right, so what I want to do here is we're going to talk a little bit about GitHub. So GitHub, this is all going to be GitHub. Let's make that huge. Oh, fuck. GitHub is a network of a bunch of code, right? It's a website, basically. So GitHub, if I go to my GitHub or other people's GitHub, it's literally a website that just kind of stores shit. So it's like this website, there's different users. People can have access to different, repositories is what we call them when they're on GitHub or anything associated with Git. So let's actually just go ahead and look at my profile, for example. Here is my user profile. Looking on here, let's see, I can go to, let me find, I can click on a file, and this represents a project that I worked on, right? We can look at other people's GitHubs. One of my mentors, Kyle Coberly. We can go and we can, is it Kyle Dash Coberly or something? I'll find out. It's not equal sign, that's for sure. Point is, maybe we could do T-Pope. There we go. This guy's famous. Oh, wait, nah, man. Oh, it's because I did JJ Higgs / I'm dumb. Well, this guy's got a famous GitHub. So this guy creates plugins for a text editor that I use. Don't worry about it. This guy's got a famous one. He's got 14.3K followers. He's like Instagram famous, put on GitHub. He's also Instagram on Instagram. Well, anyways, this guy has different codes that he's worked on. Here's a piece of software that does a real thing. This is not just a README that you see. This is a README to accompany some code that this guy made. We can look here. We can look through his project. We can look at his code, right? If I look at this, that's a pretty simple file, but you get the idea. It's literally just storing code. That's all that it is. I can show you the one that I made for the website, for example, github.com/JJHiggs/JRS. I don't know. I think I have to look at it. It's like student website. Justice Reskill student site. So if you look here, this is all the code that makes the website. You can poke around those files, whatever. The point is that you can store your code here. What GitHub is not is software on your computer. So let's talk about the software on your computer. So here we'll say that this is the internet on, oops, this is terribly drawn. Internet, oh God. And this is we're doing this text your girlfriend style, your PC. Cool. Here, what do you think I'm going to write here? Any ideas? Cam, Lawrence? Git. Git is a software that lives on your computer.
Okay.
Git is a version. So Git is a version control software. That's what we're going to call it. Git, oh, whoops. Dang it. Git is a version control software. Cool.
Yeah.
Git is a network website-y thing that stores.
You mean GitHub?
Yes. Thank you. It's a network website thing that stores Git projects. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's all good. NetWalk. All right. Let that sink in for a second.
Okay.
Cool. Lawrence, where's Git located?
On your PC.
On your computer. Yeah. I said PC because it was shorter to write than computer. But in general, just on your computer.
Yeah.
Cam, where is GitHub located?
On the web.
On the web. Now, here's the thing that's cool about it. Git and GitHub have tools to work with each other, right? So Git and GitHub have tools where they can interface with each other really easily. Neither of y'all are gonna have to get good at Git. We're just gonna start the basic stuff, and you're gonna maybe start to get a feel for it. So what we want to do right now, and I want everybody to code along, please. So what we want to do is we want to create a project in Git and store it on GitHub. So, and also as we go, I want y'all to like just write along these steps. Okay. So what I want you to do is, and let's make a README here. New file, we'll call it github.md. That's just a README file. So just to be smart about how we do these notes, we'll say GitHub notes. Cool. So how to make a Git repo. Let's start with what is a Git repository. What is a Git repository? So anybody have an idea of what a Git repository is? Give your best answer, give it a shot. If you fail, no big deal. We have a culture of error here. Errors are celebrated.
Is a Git repository like the basically like the place where you find the information that you put in Git?
Okay, so it's where
the information is stored.
Information. Okay. Cool. So both those answers are pretty close. Basically, the way that I think of what a Git repository is it's like a special folder that Git is tracking. This word means the same thing for Git and for GitHub. That's what I would say there. That's it. That's all that it is. A Git repository always has a .git file at its root. Without this file, it isn't a Git repository anymore. Repo is like short for repository. You will see Git repo all the time, typed everywhere. Okay, so now what I kind of want to do is, let's just do, to make a folder a Git repository, run the command, and this is how you write a command in. Oh, I actually realized I gotta untab that. Markdown's actually picky about how things work. So I'm trying to get better at it actually. You can get text on a screen pretty easily. But anyways, cool. So to do it, you're gonna run a command. And this is just the way that you do this in Markdown. Don't stress about writing Markdown right now. That's probably a little bit too much to absorb, but I'm just writing this so that way you can have this text document as a reference later. So basically, like, you run this command, git init. Simple enough, right? You type in git init and it creates a Git repository for you. Let's go ahead. I'm going to stop running my light server so that way we could deal with Git stuff right now. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is type in here. What am I going to type in to make this thing a Git repository?
Git init.
Cool. Y'all try it too. Git init. Bam. Y'all see anything change about my, does anything look different here on my terminal?
It's green now.
Yeah, it says master there. Whoops. So don't stress about what master means. We can talk about that when we get a little bit deeper into Git. Right now, we're really just trying to create a repository, store it, whatever. But yeah, we'll just leave it at that for now. Now, remember when I said that it's a special folder that has Git tracking, and then what does a Git repository always have?
A .git file.
A .git file. So question, where is my .git file? Why can't I see it?
You don't have one?
Nope, I do have one. Otherwise, it would not be a Git repo, and it says it is a Git repo. So any dot file gets hidden by default. So if I type in ls, you can't see it. To show a dot file, here, let's throw this as a little note here. To show a dot file, try ls-a. -a just means even show the hidden ones. So if I type in ls-a, hey, look, y'all see a Git file there? A folder,
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So again, that folder is what makes this a Git repository. Guess what? If I delete that folder, first of all, how do I delete a folder?
rm-rf.
Cool. And then what?
And then the name of the folder.
Okay, so .git. Bam, what don't I see anymore? Cool. So that means that without that .git file, there is no Git repository on my computer right now.
Yeah.
This is just a regular folder now. How do I, without looking at this, let's go ahead and delete that for a second. How do I now return it into a Git file?
Git space init, git init.
Yep. What do you think init stands for?
Initialize.
Yep. Good guess. Exactly. So cool. Now I'm back to having a Git folder. And I'm going to undo this and bring it back. Awesome. How y'all feeling about that? Fist to 5.
That is
Fist to 5 as in like show me on a scale of 1 to 5 how you feel about that material. 4. I see a 4 from Lawrence.
I feel about a 4 or 5 with it too. I just gotta do it a couple more times, like by myself.
Exactly.
And,
cool.
Now, but beyond that, it's pretty easy to remember. You just gotta go through it a couple times.
Yep.
So on my terminal, right? How would I get to the folder?
So right now you are running your light server. So your server takes Control-C.
Oh, okay.
Usually Control-C is a pretty good guess on how to get out of something.
Oh,
in general, it won't kill all programs, but most programs have Control-C as a way of exiting them. Not all of them. And if you really get stuck, there are some programs where you can't just end it with Control-C. And this goes for you too, Cam. You can click this trash icon to literally kill your terminal. Like, this literally kills your terminal no matter what the fuck it's doing. It's better to use Control-C or find out what the exit command is when you can. But if you can't, you can just kill the terminal from right there.
So Control-C.
Soda basura.
Cool. So now we need to write how to store changes in GitHub. That's kind of what we're going to refer to that as for right now. I'm just gonna say run the following command. Hopefully y'all don't mind me trying to be thorough with this so that way y'all have some notes later. Because I know I am a much faster typer than y'all are at writing. No offense. Cool. So now we have how to store changes in GitHub. So this is where we're gonna have kind of two parts to this. We'll have a part one, right? And in part one, what we're gonna do is we are going to add the files that we want to be tracked, that we want the latest version of, is I guess what I'll say for right now, or that we want Git to watch. Cool. So basically what you would do is you could do something like this. Let's do part one, add the files that we want Git to watch. I think this just needs to be capitalized. That's why it's being a bitch. So cool. So you're going to basically run like Git add and then file name 1, file name 2, file name 3, whatever files you wanted to track, right? Or you can tell Git to watch all files by doing Git add space. What do you think is going to reference all of the files in the folder that you're in?
The folder.
Yeah. But if you're already inside of a folder, what do you think it will be?
Dot.
Beautiful. Love it. That's exactly what you do. You do git add dot to add all of the shit that's inside of the folder that you're in. Cool. So this is part one. Then you have to you have to commit the changes on those files and add a message on what content was changed during that commit. So these are the two parts that you have to do here. Okay. So the way that you're going to do this is, whoops. It's going to be like git commit -m, and this is a long one, and then your message would go right here. So a good example of this would be like, let's say I deleted a line of code.
You put the quotes for your message?
Yep, you need the quotes for your message. Cool. Now, this is going to seem like a lot to not really accomplish a lot. That's one of the things that's super frustrating about Git, for me at least, definitely. By the way, sometimes I wish I had this shit for my music shit. The problem is that GitHub files, so in general, GitHub files are a lot smaller than like music videos, YouTube. The stuff that's meant to go on GitHub files is code. And if you're trying to upload videos onto your GitHub, you're fucking up. You shouldn't do that. Those should be stored somewhere else. In general, the things that you store on GitHub should pretty much be code and text. Sometimes images, but only a couple. Cool. All right, so what I want everyone to do now is, without my help, I want you to add all the changes that you've made to this repository, or not, yeah, it will be a repository if you've already initialized it. I want you to add all of the changes, and then I want you to commit those changes with a message that says whatever the fuck you want. Okay, so I'm gonna put 5 minutes on the clock, and y'all can have at it. Set timer for 5 minutes. Woo. How y'all feeling about this stuff? You enjoying it?
That's a lot, but it's cool.
Yeah, It's a lot, but you know.
Is this the same thing?
Yep. So you initialize your repository. What's the next step?
So mine just looks different because it's on Windows.
Um,
Or
it doesn't really look that different. I guess it does. Yeah, it says a different thing. I wouldn't stress about that. That's just your Zish thing. Yeah, it's the same thing though.
anything.
Yep.
Okay. So,
I might just have some plugin installed or something like that.
oh, okay. I don't have any files though. Oh, wait.
Yep. So you do have it. Type in ls to see if you have files. You got files. Mhm. By the way, why don't you? Both of y'all should try CDing out of your Git repository and see what your Zish does. See if that you still have that thing that says master on there. See how it went away? Try CDing back into there. Yep, assessment 1. Pretty. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Hi, good boy. Hi, good boy. I love you. Finally got my fucking Flatiron sweatshirt today. Y'all want to check it out?
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this shit for months. Fucking love this jacket. My baby. A little bit more than I love Doomslayer. That's not true. I take it back, buddy. I take it back. Look, I got a Flatiron school shirt. Flatiron school.
Yeah.
I'm a motherfucking teacher up in this bitch. Out, bro.
That's what you like it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I taught there. That's where I like taught for this stuff.
Oh. So I got back in it.
Yep. So you're back in it now. How are you? Oh, but why are you? What folder are you in? So I would tend to avoid being inside of the .git folder. How do you cd out of the .git folder? Yep, that works. You could also do cd dot dot. This is a Zish thing, by the way, that you can just type in dot dot, not actually cd it, just so you know. Okay, so now that you're here, how are you now? What I want you to do is add all of the files in the current directory, add all of the files, and then make a commit. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. Do that. Every time I see myself in a hoodie on camera, I start thinking of like the 8 Mile song. Lose yourself in the music.
For real.
I'm Rabbit, yo. All right.
So what message are we supposed to put in? Anything?
Anything. I would say this is my first commit or something like that. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Bam. Okay, cool. That's exactly what that should look like. Cam, why don't you go ahead and share your screen so that way we can kind of
Yeah, I'm trying to see what's going on here.
Cool. Oh, actually, let me keep sharing my screen so that way you can see it. That might be more helpful, honestly. Where are you at right now? Talk to me, buddy.
I already did the Git init.
Cool.
So then I have to add a file, right?
You got to add, I'm asking you to add all of the files in your directory. How are you going to do that?
So in my directory,
Yep. How are you going to do
I
that?
would have to click ls, right?
Nope. LS just lists all those files. How do you reference all of those files? You are the one who answered this.
cd.
Nope. How do you reference all the files in your current folder?
Reference small.
What is the little symbol that you use to reference all of the files in the current folder that you are CD'd into?
Think about if you get in an argument with a ghetto girl, what is she gonna say?
Oh man, I'm confused right now.
Period.
Period. Okay.
So you're gonna type in Git add period.
And the period goes right after add.
Yep. Well, it's git add space period. So, yep.
Okay. So now it's saying command not found.
What command is not found?
What I just typed in.
Did you just type in add period or git add period?
Get add period.
You want to share your screen?
See that? I tried it both ways.
Error assessment 1 does not have a commit checked out. I think when you did git add Mike, it might have fucked something up because Mike is not a file that actually exists. So let's go ahead and do this. How are you going to make this not a GitHub repo or a Git repo anymore? How are you going to remove Git from it?
RM.
Yep.
Or like that.
Is it Git? What is the file name? Why is it hidden? What's the thing that makes it a hidden file? Yeah, it's got a dot there, so it's .git.
Okay.
Period Git.
You're right.
Period. All right, cool. Also, what folder are you CD'd into right now? Shouldn't you be in assessment 1 and not assessments?
Yeah.
So why don't you get into assessment 1 first and then follow the steps to add this thing to Git.
Now it took me back into, okay. So I gotta do this again.
Oh, you already have it as a Git file. Try doing that. Might have been what was fucked up, is that you had a Git repo inside of a Git repo. GitHub hates that. Don't do it's called a nested repo. If you have like a folder that's a GitHub folder, and then inside of that you make, or I'm sorry, Git folder, and then inside of that you do another Git folder. Don't do that. In general, you just want to have one Git repository in a Git repository, if that makes sense. Cool. So you're in assessment 1 right now. Now try doing the git add whatever. See if that works. Git add dot space dot.
Space dot. And should git add be right next to each other, or should it be a space in between?
Space in between. Git space add space dot. You'll get used to these commands if you do them a bunch. Cool. So that worked. Now try doing your commit message. So it's git commit -m and write your commit message. I'm gonna start sharing so that way you can see. Let me know when you get there.
I'm there.
Cool. So now what you've done is, have we done anything with GitHub yet? Do you think we've done anything with GitHub yet, Lawrence? Yeah, right here. Yes, you say yes. Mm-hmm. Cam, do you think we've done anything with GitHub?
Yeah.
Nope. Everything that we did was all in Git. We haven't even touched GitHub yet.
Wow.
Okay. So all that we did was use version control on our own computer. The next thing that we're going to learn about is how do we get it onto GitHub, okay? So now, getting your code onto GitHub. So we're going to start with this. First, add that process of like git add dot, by the way, you will see called staging. So first stage and commit your changes, which that's what we just worked on, was staging and committing our changes. And this was all in Git, not in GitHub. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to push changes to GitHub. Okay. So for our first one, GitHub actually helps us. And actually, let's start this with, let's do setting up a GitHub repository. So step one is just going to be go to github.com/new. Okay, that's literally the first thing. So you're literally just going to go to github.com/new. Bam. Now I'm at a website that allows me to upload my code to it. So everybody let me know when they get this far.
I'm there.
Cool. So then you just start typing in your repository name. So my repository name is going to be, I don't know, first HTML project or something along those lines. Bam, create that repository. Awesome. So now, do you think this GitHub is automatically connected to my Git? Do you think GitHub knows, hey, I know exactly where to go on John's computer to find this code?
No.
No. So actually, the way that we do this is through our terminal. So we're actually going to use these commands here. I don't actually remember these commands by heart, just so you know, right? But what they're doing is they're saying git remote, add origin, and then this is basically a link to this page. Okay? Then what they're doing is they're changing the branch name to main. This used to not be a part of the code that they would give you. The reason why, if you're actually curious, is you see how in here this says master? Yeah. That's going to change to main when you copy this code over. The reason why they changed that is for politically correct reasons. They thought like master was like slave terms, so they would get rid of it. So however you feel about that, that's what that's doing right here, is it's just changing it to, instead of saying the master branch, you are now on the main branch, because that's not associated with slavery. Hooray. Yes. And then this is right here, the thing that actually connects. Okay. So the way that I want to draw this is this process of going from Git to GitHub is called pushing, right? You are pushing code from your local Git repository onto GitHub. You can also, can you guess what this one would be called? Any idea? This down arrow, if this up arrow is pushing.
Is that pulling?
Yep, this is pulling. We're not going to worry too much about pulling for a little while. There's also a couple different ways that the word pulling is used, which makes it really fucking confusing. Okay. But what we need to do is go to github.com/new. We need to copy the instructions. So basically just copy the instructions for the, like, if you already have a project made, right? And then paste them into your terminal and you're good to go. Probably. I'm going to put a probably there because you might not be good to go. All kinds of weird shit happens all the time when you're coding. So probably will be good to go is what I'm going to say. Okay. So I'm going to do exactly what I just said. I'm literally going to copy these 3 lines of code by hitting Command C. I'm going to go into my terminal and I'm just going to paste them in there, and it didn't paste over right. So I have to Control C out of whatever that was. That happens sometimes. Now I pasted and I see all of them in there. I'm going to press enter and let's look at my computer. Uh-oh. Branch rename failed.
Mine worked.
Oh, I think it's because I didn't actually do a git add and a git commit. So I'm gonna do git add all, git commit, and a lot of times your first commit, you're literally just gonna call it first commit. That's pretty standard for people. That was my problem. So I didn't add or commit anything, so it didn't work. So now I can go ahead and paste all those things. Bam, cool. And you see all this shit that just happened? That means that it worked. And the other thing that you want to check to make sure that it works is refresh this page.
That's what only actually I don't think.
Let me see.
I just thought that, you know.
Yay, 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 yay.
So it worked for you? Did it work? Nice. Cool. So that wasn't too hard, right?
Yeah, not at all.
It's a lot of steps and it's kind of confusing. And I tried to go slow to explain some of this stuff. But the truth is, I could do this in like a minute. I could get a I literally could probably create this entire project in a minute and get it on GitHub, right? So just to give you not all this like markdown stuff, but just to give you an idea of like this stuff that seems stressful now, you're gonna get used to it, I promise. Cool. So the next thing I want to go over is we just created a new GitHub repository, but now we're gonna do changing a GitHub repository, and we are going to kind of do this in 2 different spots, and also this here, this can go there. So either way, you're gonna want to stage and commit your changes first, which we can do. Maybe this will be. Put this here so it's more clear. Cool. Then push your changes to GitHub. So now let's say I want to make a change. Let's say I want to change doomslayer.html, right? Actually, I want to see if y'all can just, here's what I want you to try to do. I want you to try and add an H2 here. Oh, actually, it doesn't matter which file it is. And just say like, Doomslayer is the bee's knees. And what I want you to do is save this file and then try to commit those changes and push those changes back up to GitHub. And if you do this correctly, you should be able to go to that GitHub website and you should be able to look at the code on there and see that this line of code is in there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, when you do push, the way I want you to learn for right now, the way that you're going to do push is you are going to do git push. I would just do, for now, always just do git push origin head. Now, my guess is that if any of y'all run into major issues that you get stuck on and don't know what the fuck is going on, it's going to be GitHub stuff. It's a lot easier to Google a lot of other shit. GitHub is a confusing, fickle bitch, to be 100% honest. It can be a pain in the ass. Just so you know. I think if there's one thing that's maybe the hardest to understand that we've talked about so far, it's GitHub. Following these steps isn't that hard. But once you get used to it, you'll see. By the way, something I want to show you is that, hey, look, this README that I have, I called it GitHub. If I change the name of this to README, it shows up as, when you make a README document, it shows up all here. That's the point of a README. We'll worry about that another time.
That's expensive.
Hey, could you scroll down one more time?
Yeah, my bad. Y'all feel like you're learning?
Yeah.
One day it'll all pay off, I swear. Might be a little while. By 2022, though, y'all gonna be able to get some high-paying remote jobs.
Hell yeah. Git push origin. Fatal origin does not appear to be a Git repository.
Did you do git push origin head?
Yeah. Cannot read from remote repository.
Can you share your screen, please?
Let me see.
So you're going up to the previous commands. Did you add and commit your changes first? Nope. So first you have to.
Yes.
Yep.
Saved it.
So did you do git add dot git commit dash m, write your message? You're gonna have to do that each time.
Git
Yep. Now try that git push origin head and see if it works. Interesting. You know what this is probably? This is probably a GitHub issue. Can you just try git push, no arguments? That worked. I don't know why origin head didn't work. That's strange.
Wow.
Yeah, it could be like maybe a new Git thing. Nope, you don't need to copy all that. So you're just adding a change now. So you're gonna add the changes, you're going to commit the changes, and then you're just gonna type in git push origin head. You don't need, so it already knows what it's connected to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or did you create a new, can you refresh that page up there? Like go to your Google, refresh that.
I made a new repository.
Oh, if you made a new repository, connecting the new repository, you've got to do. But in general, you're not going to want to like repository and create a new repository each time. You want to add changes, commit changes, and then you want to push, and then push those changes. So I don't know. Do you have an origin here? I know. Let me check. Let's see. I'm just going to type in this. I don't know if it'll do anything. First of all,
offensive rebounds for Baylor. What stands out to you in that first half, Joe? Well, Baylor guards are as good as advertised. They are fantastic. That bench was amazing. They shoot 60% from three. It's been amazing. They got 9 offensive rebounds.
Let's make a new one.
He made a subtle
I'm just gonna.
That's when they got
what's going on here.
He's like, we can't guard these guys. My best player got in foul trouble.
We can copy this. It's not the right thing to do, but we'll do it. Git push set. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I think let's just make a new one for now. So I'm gonna do. How am I gonna make this not a GitHub repo anymore? Cam, did you get yours updated?
Yeah.
Try to just removing it and making a new one. Sorry, I don't know why that's doing that. I think you might have done something. This is where Git can be kind of fucky. So you're gonna. I promise you, if you haven't experienced it yet, you will experience it eventually.
So after I did that, now I would just have to create a repository on GitHub.
Make a whole new.
Or no, it's pushed to the other one, huh? Yep.
That whole thing again. What?
Yeah, so it just pushed to the other one, right?
Yep, it just pushed to the one you were already at.
Okay, bet.
Cool.
Let's see it.
All right. Where are we at on time? Y'all want to go till 9 or 8:30?
Like, is it gonna be more Git stuff or is it gonna be something different?
I was gonna do some HTML stuff.
We could go to 8:30. You know, my brain's starting to get fried now.
I feel that, dude. Mine too. So cool. We'll go to 8:30. So, yeah. So what do you have to do? That's not a Git repository right now. How do you make it? I'm gonna pause the video here right now. I think all the GitHub stuff I wanted to talk about, we talked about. So I'm gonna end it here.